introduce yourselves.
My name is Andy Concert. I was the 2004 Kansas State Champion Auctioneer.
My name is Julia Sparks, and I'm the 2017 Kansas Auctioneer.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the auction today.
So we're raising money today for the Kansas State Fair, and
Okay.
we had two wonderful chainsaw artists who produced 33 pieces for us to sell for charity. And the auction was very successful.
Yeah, the money, I understand the money goes to the Friends of 4-H, and it goes for fairground improvements here at the State Fair. The chainsaw artists, as we understand it, are hired to be here throughout the week as an attraction,
Yep.
and people watch it, and then everything they've carved this week is what we sold today.
Now, as an auctioneer, talk to me a little bit about what you guys do and how important it is, because I noticed there's, you have, it's not just you guys, you have a team of people out there.
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about all this.
So as an auctioneer, our job is to be fast, fun, and transparent in our selling techniques. So our job is to liquidate assets as quickly as possible in a competitive environment. Obviously, we can't do that alone because you saw our ringmen bouncing everywhere. Because It's impossible in a crowd like this to see everything.
A lot more people than us.
Absolutely.
There's 400 people here and two sets of eyes.
Yeah.
That would have been difficult. So we're both members of the Kansas Auctioneers Association, and so were the people that were down here helping us today.
Now, with the auction, I noticed that you guys would start sometimes with a high number and go down. Sometimes you would go with a low number and go up. Talk to me a little bit about that aspect.
It's a little bit of reading the crowd, in my opinion. A lot of times you'll throw a higher number out to kind of plant the seed, if you will, of what we think the value is of that item. If we say, we'll give $1,000 for it, well, maybe that's what we think it might be worth.
Right.
And then we'll back down to get the bidding back up. But sometimes after they hear that over and over and over again, you need to change it up a little bit to spur that bidding. And so sometimes we would start low and just go higher.
Let people get competitive down there in the lowing and have fun with it. That's our goal, is for people to have fun here. So.
Now, I noticed there was a lot of times that you had various people that you were doing the bidding with, and then you would go back to them, and you would try to get them to keep going. What's the technique behind that?
I think part of our job is there's a lot of aspects to being an auctioneer, and part of it is being a psychologist from the standpoint of reading people. Reading their facial expressions, reading their body languages. Maybe they do have one more bid left in them, so we'll leave them alone for a couple seconds, look around, and then come back one more time. Would you come back to us? Sometimes that'll spur on more bidding.
Absolutely.
Now, with the competition that you won this year, tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So it's on behalf of the Kansas Auctioneers Association, which is basically an advocate for auctioneers. It's a great opportunity to be in any sort of association, especially the KAA if you're an auctioneer, because your educational opportunities are infinite. I've gained so much business by being a member of the KAA. So this contest is basically just the KAA bringing together their best of the best auctioneers in the community to rock the stage, and have a few judges out there who judge on everything from appearance, command of the stage, chance, salesmanship, ambassador qualities, etc. So that's what the KAA has done for the association.
Yeah, and our contest, we have a preliminary round at our convention back in January. There was about 19 or 20 contestants there. Then the top 10 from there are who come to our contest here. This is kind of considered our finals here at the State Fair. We think this is a great opportunity. We have a great relationship with the Kansas State Fair. They provide us a platform, literally. They provide us a great stage for communicating the auction method of marketing to the public, and they don't charge us. And then in turn, we volunteer our time to come back to do this event on Saturday, and it's been a great relationship since 1991.
Now, when you competed, going from that to watching her compete, what was that process like?
Well, not for sure how old she is, but I've got a pretty good idea. She was probably about 10 years old when I won that. But nonetheless, overall, it hasn't changed just a whole lot. You certainly have to have bid calling abilities in order to win, and that's never changed from day one. And there will always be, we're in a day, and I'm not going to get on a soapbox, but we're in a day and time where there's internet-only auctions are becoming more and more prevalent, and I do them, and you do them, and there's lots of us that have integrated that into our businesses. But there will always be a need for the auctioneer, the live auctioneer, the auction chant, and that's what we're all known for. That's the most visible part of our, most recognizable part of our deal. So
hundreds of people from around the fair came and sat here today just because they were having fun. They wouldn't be here if they didn't want to be here. And that's what the live
That's one
does.
thing that we noticed just listening to people in the crowd. Me and Bob heard all sorts of people go, well, part of the show is just watching you guys.
It is
a fun part.
Yeah, absolutely.
The rest of that story, though, is if we don't have aggressive bidders, eager bidders that are willing to spend money, we can stand up here and be clowns all day long.
Absolutely.
It doesn't do us any lick of good if we don't have people can participate.
Now, a couple more questions. One, have you guys ever seen the auctioneers set to rap music on YouTube?
I have seen that.
That is,
oh my goodness.
It's amazing.
Probably both of us got tagged by non-auctioneer
Oh
friends.
my goodness, yes.
By non-auctioneer friends on our Facebook pages when they did it, and yes, I've certainly seen that, and it's proof that auctioneers can rap too.
Now, I also noticed just from the way that you guys would handle the crowd, like some people were trying to do various things, but you couldn't get them to bid again or whatever.
Right.
And like the Nebraska bit that you did. You guys could excel like in the world of professional wrestling, cutting promos on people. Just watching all this.
We're gonna be a tag team.
I think you guys could cut people down in the auctioneer cadence just so easy. So
it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. She was actually the international champion. She wouldn't say this, so I will. She was the international champion for the junior division before she turned 18, and so.
So I might be young, but I've been doing this I've been out of auction school for almost 9 years. So it's been
and I know her parents, and her mom talks about her at age 4 trying to mimic her mom's auction chant. So it's not something that just happens overnight.
Right.
Pretty amazing.
It's tons and tons of practice to get to any level.
Absolutely.
Especially any kind of a contest level.
Right. Contest, and then even being the salesman and being the clown, because it takes a lot. I mean, a lot of work to mentally process all of it at the same time.
You have to have a lot of different characteristics to be in this business. When one is product knowledge, and you know what you're selling, and get the right people. You have to be a marketer. You have to get people there. You have to have at least a little bit of a sense of humor to do this, and then you got to have some salesmanship, and then you have to have the bid calling ability. I mean, it's a mix.
Right.
Now, before we let you guys go, if people want to get more information about what you guys do or the Kansas Auctioneers Association, how do they do that exactly?
So we highly recommend, and not just because we're members, but we highly recommend that if you're looking to have an auction, you go to kansasauctioneers.com, and that's the website for the Kansas Auctioneers Association. And all of our member auctioneers, a little over 300 members, are listed there. Most importantly, because there's a very high code of ethics that we subscribe to, that if we don't, we lose our membership. And we are a state that doesn't license auctioneers. So this code of ethics is one way to keep us treating the public right, both sellers and buyers, and we all subscribe to that very highly. And so you want somebody that's above board, you want somebody that's honest and fair and does the business right.
Weed out method in a way, just like you wouldn't go to any realtor to sell your house. You want somebody who's credible, and that's kind of what the KAA does for the auctioneers as well.
Adds that credibility.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. It was fun watching you guys.
Yes.
Bob,
can I get a picture of you guys?
Absolutely. We're both a little sweaty.